Thank you. Lovely. Good evening. How lovely to see you all. I'm so delighted we've got a full hall here this evening. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm the head teacher here at the Weald. I'm just going to give you a very quick introduction about myself and the school, and then I'm going to hand over to Mr. Cook, who is my colleague over to my right here, who's our head of Sixth Form. And then most importantly, you're going to hear from some of our students down here who will tell you what it's really like to be here in our Sixth Form. So just a little introduction from me. I've been the head teacher here now for almost 4 years, but before that, for 6 years, I was the deputy head here. So I've worked in this community here for a long time, and I believe it's a very, very special place. We think that two things are the most important factors of any young person's education and their growing up in life, and that's opportunity and community. We feel that that's so strong that actually that is just as important in Sixth Form as it is in the lower school. We talk about it a lot with our young people day in, day out. It works in the Sixth Form because we are just as passionate about providing the very best learning opportunities, both in classrooms and outside of classrooms for our young people. And we know that we provide that. And also our community is so strong and so warm, and that is, if you've walked around already or if you're still to do that, I'm sure that what you'll see is really strong relationships between students and staff, amongst the students, and just a really warm, friendly feel. It is a very, very nice place to be. So I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to hand over in a moment now to Mr. Cook, who's going to tell you some of the ins and outs, and I will be back to talk to you a little bit more later on. Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Thank you. It's really lovely to see so many familiar faces, but also lots of new ones as well. And obviously you've all found us this evening, but in my visits to other schools, I've been asked quite frequently, where is the Weald? Where is Billingshurst? And I imagine that most of you drove this evening and it was quite easy to find. But you may be wondering how to get here via other modes of transport. We are really well connected to Horsham and other areas through trains, buses, and obviously by road as well. So we have a free student car park. As students are in Sixth Form, lots of them pass their driving tests and want to drive into school. The train station is just a 2-minute walk away. So if you're based in Horsham or Crawley or somewhere south, there are trains to Billingshurst and the station is a 2-minute walk. There are also buses, both school buses and public buses that run from Horsham and surrounding areas. So there's one that's literally outside Tambridge House School. So if you go there at the moment, if you can get there, you can get to Billingshurst really, really easily. So if you've got any questions around that, please do ask one of the Sixth Form team. But essentially from year 7, it's a really, really just embedded part of the process that lots of our students travel to us. So please don't be put off by the location if you are from elsewhere. It's a really normal part of our school day where students start the school day a little bit earlier, travel to us right from the age of 11 all the way up to 18 years old. And you will be able to navigate that as well, I'm sure. But if you are worried in any way, please speak to one of the Sixth Form team or drop us an email. We'd be happy to talk you through those transport options. So who are we? We are 302 members of staff, which is a staggering number. I've really struggled to get my head around that. A massive number of staff. Mrs. Edwards has introduced herself already. I'm Graham Cook, the head of Sixth Form. We've got a wonderful Sixth Form team as well, who you'll be able to meet this evening. But more importantly, we're 1,792 students, 325 of which are Sixth Formers. That for me, those are huge numbers. We benefit from the scale of a really large school and the resources that brings, but also 325 is quite a small Sixth Form. So we are a small Sixth Form college within a larger school, and that does bring the resources, but it also enables us to keep a close-knit, sort of smaller scale community. And I've been really struck, I'll talk about it a little bit more later, at how people talk about how small the Weald community feels. And that's despite having nearly 1,800 students with us and 300 staff. That is completely incredible to me that we still managed to retain that. And hopefully you get that sense as you go around this evening and you see people who genuinely know each other, and that continues into Sixth Form, and that's something that we want all of our students in Sixth Form to be part of. So without saying any more, I'm going to hand over to some of our prefects to introduce themselves.
Okay. Hi, my name's Evie. I'm one of the head prefects this year. Max and I oversee 24 other prefects. We help support positive change and bring those ideas to the sixth form team. I take biology, psychology and sociology. I gained an A grade in my level 3 EPQ last year. I chose the Weald due to its support system and the sense of community that I felt in class. I also enjoy the small class sizes as they promote in-class discussion and it fuels the love for my subjects.
Yeah, hi, I'm Max. I'm the other head prefect and I study German, English Lit and History. I did Maths AS last year as well. Also, as head prefects, Evie and I work closely with the school council to enact changes across the lower school as well as the sixth form. And I chose the Weald because I knew I'd benefit from the close-knit community, as well as the relationships we built with the teachers and other students as well.
Hi, I'm Bianca and I'm the lead inclusion prefect. I oversee the wellbeing, diversity and the transition to sixth form teams. And I study maths, physics and criminology and I'm still completing my level 3 EPQ. I chose to study at the Weald sixth form because I wanted a more structured routine to my day and the smaller class sizes really did appeal to me as well as I just wanted a new school environment from where I went to secondary school basically.
Hi, I'm Will. I am the lead operation prefect, so I'm in charge of running things like the car parking, like many of you probably saw tonight. I also do other things like running the social media pages and the vending machine as well. I study product design, media studies, economics and core maths, and I chose to come to this school because all of my friends are going here. It was quite close and I really enjoy the community that the Weald have here.
Hiya, my name is Troy. I'm the lead enrichment prefect here at the Weald, and so I oversee the arts and events teams, the eco team and the charity team. The reason why I chose the Weald was, for me, it was really about the teachers and the support that's on offer and how that builds such a wonderful community around the school. And the subjects I take are biology, chemistry, and psychology, and I got an A star in my EPQ last year.
So hopefully that gives you a sense of the different courses and the combinations of courses that our students study. I mentioned it briefly earlier. This was a quote from one of our students from a few years ago who was an external student. And they felt very welcomed quite quickly. They'd been to another local secondary school for years 7 to 11. That school didn't have a sixth form. They came to us and quite quickly noticed that they were able to integrate into the community and felt really welcome, and it was a close-knit part of that school to be part of. And I think a lot of that comes down to what we really value. Through our beliefs in opportunity and community, we really value people. And we'll talk about some of the academic successes we experience later on, but all of those come from our commitment to people and really valuing the individuals that we have as part of our school community. Sorry, let me just skip to the next slide. So Troy, would you like to come and talk about the class sizes?
So there's three main things that for me really stand out about teachers at the Weald. First off is when you're learning the content, they're really keen to show you how the content applies to real life. Secondly, they have great experience not only within teaching and often have like many years experience behind them, but also within industry. So they know the relevance of the content you're learning, and that gives such a great like holistic view of the subject. And thirdly, they're just fun. Like lessons are memorable, lessons are fun, and the community that the teachers bring to the school is really just a wonderful thing. And another way that's achieved is the fact that we have these really small class sizes. So there's about 10 students per class on average, and it builds a really wonderful community within the sixth form, and it means that you have this really tight-knit class and a really great place to learn.
Will, next.
Another really great opportunity that the Weald has is the progress coaching. So when you get into the sixth form, you have target grades, and sometimes if you don't meet them for many things, maybe the test wasn't the test on that day, or you were too busy, then you're able to go into progress coaching, which is a really helpful thing. It's run by Mrs. Love, and I'm sure many of you know her, and she helps you and gives you really good techniques to be able to revise and do better in your exams and get the grades that we know you can achieve.
So we have a fantastic academic support at the sixth form, but we also have a great pastoral side as well. So we have Miss Goodwin at the back, our dedicated pastoral manager, and she works within the sixth form office, which is is in the sixth form centre basically. And we have an open door policy, so you always know help is available there. you can just drop in whatever time of day you need for the help, with whatever you need.
Tutors are another big thing about the support here at the Weald. So before every school day, you'll have a 20-minute tutor time. Depending on your year, will have certain days of the week that they're in for tutor time. And it's like a group of 20 students, and your form tutor really acts as like a first port of call to whether you have concerns about your academic concerns, or whether you have pastoral issues or anything like that. You can always speak to your tutors, and that is a really great way to sort of build that connection.
So this is an example timetable that a student in year 12 will have when they start with us. So in the first couple of weeks, students are in for tutor time every day to get to know their form tutor, to get to know their tutor group. After the first 2 weeks, they are only then in for the first part of the day, the tutor period, if they are invited in for their tutor, as Troy said, in the smaller groups, sometimes one-to-one, sometimes in small groups of 3 or 4, sometimes in a year group, sometimes as a whole group. We have quite a structured timetable. I kind of like to think of it as a semi-structured approach, where for the first half term, year 12s have to be in school all day, every day. And there is a misconception, I think, that in the Weald we don't allow home study. We do, just not for the first half term. Once we're confident that students have made the step up to year 12 and they are able to make progress and have adjusted to their studies, if things are going well, we then grant home study, and it's very rare that we don't, but we review it periodically. And if we feel like home study is becoming a barrier to progress or attainment, we do then take it away and probably replace it with progress coaching, as Will mentioned. But you can see that on top of the A-level subjects, there are other parts of the timetable as well. So we have personal development, or RHPD. It's a non-examined subject, just like in the lower school, where students do things to help their personal development. We have an additional strand. So all students take something like EPQ, core maths, or use of English. And those courses are designed to enhance their A-level experience. Core maths and EPQ are also worth half an A-level. One of my year 13s came to me today with her UCAS, her first university offer, very, very excitedly, had Birmingham and Exeter emailed to say that they were offering her a place at their university. She was like, I don't know what this bit means. And at the bottom it said, because you've got an A star in EPQ, we are lowering your entry requirements. So she was offered an AAA, but they actually only wanted AAB as her grades because she had the EPQ already. So we offer this additional strand. We know that it's good for skills building, but we also know when it comes to university applications, it can make the process smoother. And then finally, you can see study periods and home study. We know that with A-levels, there is a lot of expectation on the student that they study independently, and so we provide the time for that. Really early on in year 12, we work with an organisation called Action Your Potential. If you're in year 10 or 11 here, you'll be familiar with them already. They continue coming in throughout year 12, and they work with students to help them develop really effective study habits and independent learning skills. But on top of that, they also give them strategies to cope with the additional pressure of study. And they talk about mental health and well-being and how students can manage their own and kind of navigate the stresses of A-level life before it becomes more significant. And so we work with them from the very first day in year 12, and that support is ongoing. They do support for whole year groups, but they also do targeted support for year 13s that are struggling as well. So we work with those external organisations on top of the ones that the measures we have in school. The other thing is we don't have a uniform in sixth form. I think there's another misconception that because we are a school, we require our students to wear a uniform. We require them to wear a lanyard for safeguarding purposes, but other than that, there's no uniform. People can come in whatever they're comfortable. Bianca, over to you.
So as Sir said, we are granted study periods, and these sometimes it's not like feasible for people to get home during these study periods or home study. For example, I live in Horsham, so I get the train, and to get back to my house and back would take up the entire study period. So there are a lot of spaces inside the sixth form designated for just sixth form students to study in. We have a whole corridor of G rooms, which some of you may be familiar with, and they are quiet study rooms where you can work with friends on projects and such. And there are silent study rooms if you feel like you cannot work with anybody talking. And there's also a silent study room within our sixth form centre, which has like rows of computers. So there's always somewhere quiet for you to be working if you need to stay in school, as well as in the sixth form centre if you choose to sit and study with friends in a group. Then yeah, the sixth form centre is a very popular place to stay and do work. And people may think that staying in school for the first half term is really annoying. They're like, oh, I just want to go home in all my free periods. But it's actually quite useful. A lot of students, especially external students, have found that being forced to kind of stay in school, around a lot of people people in your lessons will have similar free periods to all of you. So being like kind of forced to stay in school with them kind of makes you interact with them more, and it really helps you settle in this first half term. And a lot of students have found that it actually helps like build community within the sixth form a lot more, like than being able to go and study at home straight away.
So there is an increased workload, but I think that's a bit self-explanatory. But right now you're sitting here with like 10 GCSEs that you have to do, and you're thinking 3 A levels or 3 BTEC subjects, that can't be that much. But it is, spoiler alert. But being in school for the first half term, it helps you get used to the A levels that you're doing. It forces you to do it in the free periods, which means when you go home, you can kind of just relax. But everyone's in the same boat. No one's sitting there going, oh, this is really easy, because it is new and it is different. But the teachers, the people in the sixth form centre, they've done this so many times. They've seen students go through this so many times. So ask them. You can ask them. They're not going to be like, sorry, I don't really want to talk to you about your struggles with your A levels. They're there to support you. And I think that's really important with your increased workload. They can support you. So don't be sitting here going like, this is really scary, but because of our community and the teachers that we have around, they are just ready there to talk to you about it because they've seen so many students go through this.
So another great thing about being connected to the lower school is the fact that the lower school obviously has so many clubs. And obviously you also have clubs at sixth form, but what you can do is you can join some of those lower school clubs. For example, we have Green Power Car, which is where I think our team competes nationally, and they try to make an eco-friendly car, which is really, really cool. We have Radio Weald, in which students run their own radio station, which is really great. And we also have Student Tech, who help set up presentations like this. Thank you to them. And if you find that you get here and there's the odd chance that maybe a society you went to, or a club you went to isn't available, you can just make your own. For example, like Max, he made a law society because he was interested in law, and now they sort of talk about law things. And for me, I was really keen on the environment, so I set up an eco society so that we can get more things done around the school. And it's a great opportunity really to sort of practice your organization, your sort of communication skills, and those skills that people are really looking from you sort of post sixth form. In terms of opportunities, there's another great opportunity that we offer. We offer tutoring and mentoring. So with tutoring, what you can do is you have the opportunity to essentially tutor a group of lower school students on a subject that you're currently studying. So for example, I do a lot of science subjects, and I do science tutoring with some year 11s. And it's a really great opportunity because, again, it teaches you about organization, it teaches you about how to pass on information in a way that works, and it's really great to build that connection with the lower school. And as well as that, we also have mentoring, which focuses more on sort of pastoral issues or academic concerns and things like that. And that you can sort of get involved with that as well.
Who's next? Yeah.
She's got the clicker. You, Max. Yes. Okay, right. Enrichment, guys, please.
Yeah, so also all year 12s each week take part in 2 supercurricular periods. And there's a wide range of things, mostly related to the lower school. So, for example, I ran a history club for year 7 and 8 and did some German tutoring for year 11s. And it's a great way to interact with the lower school and also build skills that are really good and look good on the CV or personal statement.
So we have lots of enrichment and trip opportunities. So with enrichment, we had the big debate, which we were able to interview people of different faiths. So that was really interesting. And ACE Week, we walk through UCAS and all things post-18, which can seem daunting, but it's there to give you all the opportunities that you need. It's not limited to just university or apprenticeships. It's trying to help you with that next step, so CVs and personal statement development. We have lots of extracurricular opportunities, netball and sports activities, but I won't go too much into that. Being part of the whole school production, so if you're within the school already, you know about it, but if you're joining from a different school, we have a wonderful production that goes on every year, which you can be part of. Chamber choir, which I'm part of, which you can sing various different songs in different times. So then we have trips. So we have Thorpe Park at the end of your UCAS week. You get a little bit of a treat going to Thorpe Park. And then in my year, we had subject-specific trips that you could go to. So Hampton Court for history, Seed Bank for biology, and then you have the opportunity to go to a university trip / Christmas market. Last year we went to, I think I went for the Christmas market. Then we went to the Bath, and this year we're going to Winchester. And we've got new trips, hopefully going on this year, which is New York and Naples. I think that's quite interesting. And then we have Duke of Edinburgh, which I participated in. And if you've done bronze, then, you kind of know what you're expecting, but it's 3 days instead of 2. And the volunteering gives a sense of community, which is what the Weald is all about, and you can develop your social and physical skills and how to get lost in fields with new friends. So it's really good fun.
Another really good thing that this Weald offers is Classrooms to Kenya, which I'm sure many of you have heard about. It's probably my favourite thing I've ever done, being on the trip myself. It was a really incredible experience that the Weald offered for us to be able to do, and we wouldn't be able to do it without them. So every team got together and we all raised money together. We all got to go out there and we got to help build classrooms for the people that are less fortunate. It really gives you a new perspective on your life and what you should be grateful for, and also what we should take from these people as well, because there's lots of amazing things that we've learned from being over there as well, which was really incredible to see, honestly. It was really awesome.
Another opportunity when joining the Weald, because we're a sixth form rather than a college, there is the opportunity to become a prefect like ourselves. And you can join a team of 26 lovely prefects, and it gives you the opportunity to sort of have a say in how your sixth form is run, because we have like a strong emphasis on student voice, and we want like these 2 years in sixth form to be your own and how you want them to be. So becoming a prefect is a perfect way to sort of influence the school in make a change that you want to see. And we also put on various events and stuff, sort of like charity events, bake sales, assemblies. And one big thing that we organise every year is the Sixth Form Spectacular, which if you already go here, you'll have watched. But it's an opportunity for the members of our sixth form to display their talents to the lower school, put on a little bit of a show. They can be singing, dancing, and of course there's always a little bit of teacher silliness, which people appreciate seeing. And it's a really good time. It's a lovely thing to put on, and it's a nice way to end your first term at the Weald.
We also have fantastic sports facilities and teams. Like our under-19 football team have won the County League Cup the last 2 years. We have fantastic facilities like our huge AstroTurf, multiple fields, the sports hall, and loads of equipment as well. But we also have sports to cater for everyone, really, no matter like whether you're just starting a sport or whether, like in the football, you're competing in our first under-19 team. For example, we have a badminton club once a week, which is run by sixth form for sixth form, and there are loads of opportunities from our great PE department.
There's also another really amazing opportunity, which is where you can utilise all of the Weald's music rooms. I do this. Me and my friends go down to all of the empty rooms and we get to play together and make music. And it's a really fun experience. And if you come here, you'll also be able to do that in your free periods as well.
Right. Thank you very much, guys. So I think there is no one better to give you a real flavour of how good our sixth form is. I will read you a couple of statistics and things that you may have seen. We are exceptionally high achieving. The average grade outcome for our students over the last few years has been a B+. We are, in terms of the ALPS measure, which is how A-levels are measured, varying between the top 7 and 15% every year for the last 3 to 4 years. We know that we do very well for our students and their academic outcomes are extremely strong. And that's an external judgment, it's not our own. You might also see headlines like this that tell you that because of those things, we are the best place to come for sixth form in the whole of West Sussex, which is terrific. But those are just metrics and headlines. That's not what we're about. The thing that we are most proud of is not that headline. The thing that we're most proud of is what our young people leave the Weald with and go on to. And that's that 97% of students who applied to university last year got their first choice. And that's an exceptional statistic. That means that if they want to go to university, they've got the pick of the ones they want to do, they get the support from their staff to get there, and they get the one they want to go to. That means that we are doing our job properly. Our job is to prepare our young people for life beyond the school, post-18. And that's the thing that we really want to make sure that we drive relentlessly towards every single year. And that's no matter what the starting point is for our students. And we have various different starting points and different pathways for students, no matter what their academic start is, because we want to make sure that we are the right place for everybody. So, like I say, it's really about the careers and moving on afterwards and those life chances. And there is no better day in my entire career, every single year, when it's A-level results day and watching our students, ex-students as they are then, with those certificates and passports to the next phase in their life, going to do what they want to do, what they've chosen to do, because they have worked hard and they have been supported in their efforts by their teachers and the support staff around them. In addition to that, the tremendous careers advice and education. If you haven't seen Miss O'Brien yet in the Sixth Form Centre, then please do that. That's the advice all through Unifrog, which is a really great online platform. It isn't just for university. It sounds like it is, but it isn't. It's for all sorts of things, apprenticeships, jobs, all sorts of things. And we use that very proactively throughout Key Stage 5. So I'm going to hand over now to Mr. Cook, who will talk to you about those entry requirements, and then we're wrapping up.
So yes, we do. Thank you. We do have some entry requirements for our level 3 study, which would be A-levels or level 3 BTECs. You need to finish your GCSEs with an average grade of a 4 or above. So that's the average grade there. If you have a couple of grades that are below a 3, but you have others that are higher, that can bring the average up. We do also have a level 2 pathway for students who don't meet the requirements for level 3 study. And we find that if a student hasn't reached that average grade of 4 at GCSE, they would need to do some sort of bridging year, hopefully a level 2 pathway, to make them well prepared academically for A-level study, which, as you've heard already, is very, very rigorous. Individual subjects also have entry requirements. So just because you meet the 4 and above, you might not be able to do every single A-level that you'd like to, but there are those entry requirements as well, and you can speak to the staff around school tonight about what those are. If a student does a level 2 pathway, they can still go on to do A-levels, but they would have a 3-year sixth form, whereas most students have the 2-year sixth form and they start A-levels or other level 3 courses on the first year. If you want to talk to me about the level 2 pathway, the entry requirements are a bit more complicated about that, but I'm happy to have the conversation with you if that's something that you think you might be interested in. So hopefully we've given you lots of reasons why we think that we are a school in the sixth form worth joining for next year. I'm sure that lots of you are wondering how you go about applying. So what's next? I'll show you the application process in a minute. But please, if you haven't already, go around the subjects in the E-Block canteen and other parts of the school, speak to our subject teachers, speak to our students, and find out about what their courses are like. Please look at our prospectus, which is online. If you go over to the E-Block canteen, there are some like slimmed down versions of it with a QR code on the front. If you scan the QR code, it takes you to the full prospectus on the Weald website. We have an application deadline of the 20th of December, which is the last day of term for most of you. The applications will open tomorrow. If you are a Weald student already, you will have an email with some login details. When you go to the application page, which I'll show you shortly, you need to log in with those details so that it pulls across all your personal information already, and then you don't have to fill in the parts of the form that we already know the information for. If you are from another school, there's a bit where you have to set up an account and essentially log in for the first time, but it's an online process that hopefully is quite straightforward. The contact details for the sixth form team are on the website. Please feel free to email or call us if you can't navigate that and want some help. We're happy to help. My main bit of advice really is to focus on year 11, or if you're in year 10, focus on year 10, because we know that this year is incredibly important for you. I would encourage you to get the applications done early. Just because you apply for a place, it doesn't mean that you have to be there at the end of year 13, having wished you never applied. Please apply anyway, because it will give us an idea of what students want to do, what courses, and then we start to build our timetable around that. If you think that you might be interested in studying medicine or veterinary science or going to Oxford or Cambridge after sixth form, I know that's a long way in the future, but if you might be interested in that, in G1 at 7 o'clock, we've got a talk from our early entry coordinator who can talk you through the particulars around that process if you're interested. And then from tomorrow, we hope to see that lots of you want to apply. It may be that you want to give some time to have a think before you do, and you have got until the 20th of December. But there is, if you go to the school website, there's a link that says join us, and there's a specific one for sixth form. If you click that link, it takes you to this page. And as I said, if you are currently at another school, you have to click create new application. If you are from the Weald already, you can log in with the details that we send you tomorrow, and please log in with that. It will make the process easier for you in the longer term. Before I say thank you and goodbye, if you are here from another school and you're interested, we do have Bianca, who is one of our prefects now. She joined us from Millay at the end of year 11. She's going to stay behind. If you've got any questions for her about the process, what it was like as an external student, or how she settled in, or how she's found it from that particular perspective, please do stay behind and talk to her and ask questions. If you haven't been to the common room yet, please do. There's tea and coffee if you would like to help yourself to a tea and coffee. There are also some year 13s who I'm sure you'd make very, very happy if you bought something from their charity bake sale. They are raising money for their Kenya trip in the summer, and they are there to give you something sweet to have with a tea and coffee if you would like one. If you need a tour guide, there are some out in the main reception area. They'll happily show you to the different subject areas. Thank you so much for giving up a large part of your evening this evening to come and see us, and we hope you found it really, really helpful. And if you've got any questions, please do let someone know before you leave tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done.